Hello, everybody, and welcome to Atheist Sunday School, your one-stop shop for everything Atheist Sunday and School. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Today, we are reading Job 15 through 21.
They're trying.
We're trying.
They're going to be a hive mind someday.
Someday we're going to be able to say more than two sentences at the same time.
Yeah. These days. So, 100-point show.
100-point show.
That was fast, but all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no guests.
We said what we needed
No
to
Chris,
say.
no guests.
Yeah, we have no guests today.
Yeah, why don't we have Chris?
He had to study for some exams or something.
Wow, that sucks, because I bet he would be really useful about
all
this section.
He would be very useful at every section.
Luckily, I see that today we're going over an argument about wickedness.
Yes.
So my philosophy degree may finally come in handy.
Yeah, this is the only thing that your philosophy degree will ever come in handy for.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Finally a use for that shit.
All right. So, 100-point show. What is the name of Chris Jericho's new stable in AEW?
I don't fucking know. Jimmy?
No.
Stable?
Stable is like a group of people, not a tag. It's bigger than a tag team, but they're all like one coalition.
Is it?
Oh, the Jarek clones.
No, but that's really good. Oh, what's your?
Oh, I got a guess?
Yeah, do you have a guess?
Wow, because I am usually irrelevant. Let's take that irrelevant guess then still. How about the Jungle Crew?
No.
Is it the Christians?
No.
Oh, the
That would also be good.
Christians. I like it.
The answer, and the reason I picked it for the 100-point show, is the Inner Circle.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing that.
They have encroached on our intellectual property.
Let's go sue them
We're
forever.
We are going to sue Chris Jericho and AEW. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I would not do that.
We're not going to
That's
sue
an uphill
Chris
battle.
Jericho and AEW.
For nothing.
But if we got
literally.
enough donations, we could.
We could. We'd get the donations and be like, oh, we said that we could at this point.
Yeah.
We never said that we would.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We could, and we'll make sure could is everywhere and in bold text and underlined and italicized and in a different color and font.
It'll be nice.
Yep.
Well, I guess I don't get the 100 points.
That's too bad.
Okay. In Star Wars, The Force Unleashed,
Okay.
there is a boss who constructs a replica of the Jedi Council out of trash after going insane by being, trapped on a junk planet for decades.
Okay.
What is his name?
Trashy.
No.
Damn.
Chris, you have a guess?
I don't care. Is that possible to answer that?
Yes.
Damn, that's a dumb question. This trashy?
He already
just said
guessed
trashy.
Yeah, I like trashy.
No, it's not trashy.
That was a good answer, though. I think he should get some points from me.
The character is named Kazdan Paratus.
Oh, Trashy's better.
I don't think you would have guessed Kazdan.
I would not have.
Well, I
anyways,
could have a shitty 100-point show question.
You can have one. That's fine.
Okay, this one you guys would get immediately. What was the audio problem last week that was easily fixed that I had no idea how to fix during a live stream?
Those things were unscrewed.
I said you guys can't guess. This one's to the audience.
Oh.
Whoops.
You gave
Now
it.
the audience knows.
Up.
You already, that's.
We are an informative show.
So you get 100 points for it.
Yeah, you get 100 points.
Enjoy
for us
for free.
it.
You do. You're welcome,
Yes.
world.
We have amassed enough points now that we're just throwing them away for free.
Probably not.
No?
Yeah. All right.
Nobody's going to get enough to get whatever token prize we were supposed to have at the 10,000 mark or whatever.
It was like 10 million points.
Yeah, some garbage. Okay, it was a high number.
You have to
I got
answer
that.
a lot of questions,
You do.
right?
You do.
But I think like the point pyramid contributes to that total, right?
We could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if you collectively get points from our different shows, then you're still eligible for the 1 penny for the 10 million points exchange.
Yes. So, some announcements.
That's right. We'll even pay postage for that 1 penny.
We'll pay postage.
And probably send a personalized
Totally
letter
not worth it.
signed by us
No, we'll
saying
sign the
congratulations.
Oh, we'll sign the penny.
We'll
okay.
sign the penny. Yeah, with one little like indicator that it could have been us.
You have to get like a
You're
really
welcome.
fine brush.
Yes.
I got those.
I have some pretty fine point pens.
Brushes too.
So, announcements. First of all, the Lilith video is now out. 34 minutes long, and put a lot of effort into it. And I think people are very much enjoying it. So if you haven't seen it, go watch that at some point. I think it's good.
Yeah. And the occult Nazism video is underway. I am still producing the script. I'm getting pretty far in my mysticism books. It has been helpful. I've gotten a lot of references for things that she talks about.
So this series is going to be the shit, or it better be.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fucking amazing. It's going to blow all of your minds.
It's going to be documentary level, we all hope.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
definitely.
Yeah.
Multi-part, probably.
6, you said, right? Maybe.
Yeah, there's going to be 6 parts.
6 parts, okay. So yeah, it's going to be quite large. So, point pyramid, of course, that didn't happen last time. We are not at liberty to disclose what happened. I don't know if Jim wants us talking about that.
Oh, okay,
But something
sure.
very serious happened.
But
So that's why he could not make it.
we cannot give him shit for it.
We cannot.
No, don't give
Unfortunately.
Jim shit for it anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, I really think that's we got our second weekly show coming up when we start Psalms. We're going to be covering apocryphal stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, we're about to take off, man.
Totally.
Rocket ship.
And you, who are
Our newest
our
watchers.
inner circle
And the council, right?
our council, and the greater circle as well. Thanks for coming along.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Now, let's get into this shit. We're covering Job 15 through 21 today.
Also,
And
the alchemy drive.
yes, the alchemy drive.
Yes. Once we hit $666 in donations, we're gonna try alchemy. We're gonna try to turn something into gold, and our total hasn't moved in a while, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. We're still at around 350.
350.
Around there, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, once that
Super
hits
chats
666,
are always
we're gonna
welcome.
try and
Yeah, super chats are always welcome, and you get a nice little anime.
We almost always remark on them
Yeah.
unless they're retarded, but that's not come
Either
up
way.
yet. I don't think there has been a single one that we have passed by.
Yeah.
Even if they are retarded, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, you know, don't pass up the opportunity to get an immediate, hey, we read your stupid whatever.
Anyways. All right.
Anyways,
Yeah.
once we reach that 666, we will be trying to alchemize something, you know, transmute something into something. I don't know. Lead into gold might not be possible.
I think we can
Okay,
go
I don't
to
think-
the science surplus store and badger them about alchemy for about a half hour, and we'll get something out of
We're
it.
gonna get kicked out. They're gonna be like, these
Yeah,
assholes
they're-
keep talking about alchemy.
Yeah, they're gonna think we're nuts.
Well, then you better get your shit straight before you go there.
Oh, okay.
Anyways.
But yeah, we can probably hop right into the readings.
Yes, I have the
versions.
King James version of the Bible.
I have the English Standard Version. It's this one right here, just so there's no confusion.
Yes, I also have the Holy Scriptures according to some Jews.
I also have the New King James Version.
I also have the Hebrew Bible the Hebrew Bible, a translation with commentary by Robert Alter,
Yes, we also have the Old Testament Survey from the New Interpreter's Bible.
and the Oxford Companion to the Bible.
Yes, and we have Erdman's commentary on the Bible. It's this big giant one right here. And I read through the necessary passages, the sections that we're reading through today. Read those commentaries, so I'm gonna pull those ones up. They're kind of like spread out because this is divided into the speech cycles. Or sorry, not the speech cycles. It's divided by speaker.
Oh.
So like Bildad and Eliphaz, they each have their own sections. Like here's all the times that this guy spoke, and then it's a commentary from there. So it's a little bit jumpy, but I have it all here.
So, for those of you who don't remember, last time Job was arguing with his friends.
Yes.
And Job was saying, like, he should have never been born.
Yeah.
And life is just misery, I
Yeah.
guess.
And his friends were like, hey, man, you're kind of getting close to blasphemy. And he's like, fuck you, you don't understand. Nobody could understand. And,
And
arguing.
then they're like, it was your family's fault for getting killed.
Or,
they must have done something wrong.
Yeah, or his own, possibly. We're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Also.
So when is he going to start saying stuff that's like pro-God again? It's going to be a while?
I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Oh, man.
No spoilers.
Oh, jeez.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
But let's get started then. Reading out of the King James Version of the Bible. Then answered Eliphaz the Temanite and said, should a wise man utter vain knowledge and fill his belly with the east wind? What is that about?
So, the wind. I saw that a lot coming up, so I was looking through this commentary. This is like a veiled criticism. It's a veiled criticism of Job, suggesting that his words are as violent as the sirocco wind, not the usual recommendation for the words of the wise. So the wind thing in general is about like empty words. Like you're trying to help me, you're saying stuff, but you're not saying anything useful.
Right, and
it's word salad.
Yeah. Here it says windy knowledge.
Windy knowledge, yeah, like completely devoid of any meaning.
Right. It
Stuff
has
like
no
that.
substance.
Yeah. So if we're looking, oh, okay. So
do you guys remember the expression "you're full of hot air"?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, that's how Alter translates it.
Excellent.
Yeah, he says that the literal sense of the Hebrew is wind, although his translation says hot air. The parallel term in the second verse, east wind, is a hot, blighting wind that blows from the desert. It is noteworthy that in this second round of the debate, Eliphaz, whose first speech in chapter 4 began diplomatically, launches a frontal assault against Job, denouncing him as a juggler of empty words and then an impious sinner.
Wow.
So yeah.
Great. He's having a bad time.
He's having a really bad time.
It could get worse.
Yeah.
Is it gonna get worse?
I don't think so.
I think it's gonna get worse.
Because while reading through the commentary, it was pretty much Job thought that it couldn't get any worse.
Well,
so we'll see.
I think he's about to piss his friends off,
well,
and
I
then
guess
they're gonna ditch him.
It's
gonna get worse for him.
It's not really much worse.
It's kind of worse. Anyway,
it's been really bad.
Should he
really
reason?
Bad.
Should he reason with unprofitable talk, or with speeches wherewith he can do no good? Yea, thou castest off fear, and restrainest prayer before God.
So that is kind of strange, like the wording.
Mm-hmm.
So mine says, but you are doing away with the fear of God and hindering meditation before God. And apparently the Hebrew doesn't even have the word of God.
The Holy Scriptures here say, yea, thou doest away with fear and impairest devotion before God.
Yeah, this one's probably a little bit better. Your own mouth condemns you. Job's staunch defense of his own integrity, as well as his challenge to God, is taken up by Eliphaz as clear evidence that he is an impious liar.
For thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity, and thou choosest the tongue of the crafty. Thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I, yea, thine own lips testify against thee. So this is kind of like...
So that was... Oh no, go on, sorry, that was verse 6. Go ahead.
Well, like, in Plato, they have this whole condemnation of sophistry, right? And
sure.
I'm sure you're familiar with that.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, well, the sophists were like, people who would sell their services as being able to teach how to argue, and Plato saw it as complete bullshit, and like they don't care about the truth; they just care about like debate people.
Oh, those guys! Everyone loves those guys.
It seems like there's a kind of similar condemnation, the same kind of action.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That does sound very similar.
Art thou the first man that was born? Or wast thou made before the hills? Hast thou heard the secret of God?
So a note on 15:7 here. There are overtones in it of the myth of a primal man and of the primeval figure of wisdom in Proverbs 8. So there's a lot of influence. I'm not sure which one came first, but there's certainly a lot of influence on the ideas in Proverbs and in Job. Yeah, because it's all from the wisdom traditions. So it makes perfect sense why. Yeah.
Hast thou heard the secret of God? And dost thou restrain wisdom to thyself? What knowest thou that we know not? What understandest thou which is not in us? With us are both the gray-headed and very aged men, much elder than thy father. Are the consolations of God small with thee? Is there any secret thing with thee? Why doth thine heart carry thee away, and what do thy eyes wink at, that thou turnest thy spirit against God, and lettest such words go out of thy mouth? What is man, that he should be clean, and he which is born of a woman, that he should be righteous? Behold!
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 He putteth no trust in his saints, yea, the heavens are not clean in his sight.
So here's one thing. So he's talking about angels here, kind of like not even like God can't even fully trust his angels.
Right. This one says, "Behold, he putteth no trust in his holy ones."
Right. So the holy ones, kedoshim, would be angelic beings, members of the celestial entourage. Perfection is God's alone, and his uncompromising gaze finds defects in all other beings, celestial and terrestrial.
What a jerk for making us infinitely flawed.
Pretty much, yeah.
That explains the entire show, Supernatural.
That
All of it.
Sure.
Every bit of...
I am writing my philosophy paper on Supernatural.
Wow.
And on Supernatural and the Bhagavad Gita.
Wow, I like it.
It's maybe valid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I'm basically, because, in the Bhagavad Gita, which we will read eventually. What? On this show, yeah.
Inevitably.
Inevitably. So there is Arjuna, who is this warrior, and he is going to war against like his cousins or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then his charioteer is Krishna, right? And Krishna is like supposed to be the personification of Vishnu, I think, of some god.
Vishnu.
Yeah.
Vishnu.
And basically the conflict that he's having is, does he fulfill his duty to the war or to his family? And there's so much in Supernatural about choosing family over the war and the other way around that I'm just like, fine, you know what? I'm going to rewatch all of Supernatural for like the 8th time.
Oh, man.
And also make notes every time this
conflict
comes up.
Yeah.
So I can just shit out a whole bunch of stuff, because that's how you write a philosophy paper.
Why not? That's gonna work.
I think it is.
Shankra's commentary talks about how you have to choose the war over family
You have
because
You have to?
you don't exist. You're just a
Right,
representation
right.
of Brahman. And
Right, of course.
this is what happens to be going on right now, and you have a role to play
Yeah.
in this
No.
thing that's happening.
As The Rock says, know your role, jabroni.
Yep.
Is that because Rock's role?
Shut up, Chris.
Oh.
Yes, Chris.
All right, but let's continue.
How much more abominable and filthy is man, which drinketh iniquity like water? I will show thee, hear me, and that which I have seen I will declare, which wise men have told from their fathers, and have not hid it, unto whom alone the earth was given, and no stranger passed among them. The wicked man travaileth with pain all his days, and the number of years is hidden to the oppressor. What is that all about?
Which one are you looking at?
20.
The wicked man writhes in pain all his days, through all the years that are laid up for the ruthless.
I haven't seen you get tongue-tied in a while, Ruben.
Yeah.
I know it's the King James, the superior version. You should clearly be able to handle it.
Here's
And
from
the number of years is hidden to the oppressor.
here's altars. All the wicked man's days he quakes, and few years are set aside for the tyrant. That probably makes more sense.
Yeah.
Basically, he's not going to live a good life, and it's going to be short.
Yes.
I understand now.
That's way more straightforward.
Yes,
Yep.
it is.
A dreadful sound is in his ears, tinnitus. The prosperity the destroyer shall come upon him. In prosperity the destroyer shall come upon him.
Yeah.
Is this like a specific destroyer? Is it a
God.
reference to God?
Yes.
It's not capitalized in here, which usually references to God or
Well, that is who the destroyer is. The destroyer of, the destroyer of iniquity and transgression is always God, and he's talking about the prosperity of the evil man.
Mm-hmm.
So the evil person is going to be destroyed by God, no matter how rich he is.
Okay.
In the end.
That's horrible.
Okay.
Or whatever.
He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness, and he is waited for of the sword. He wandereth abroad for bread, saying, where is it? He knoweth that the day of darkness is ready at his hand. Trouble and anguish shall make him afraid. They shall prevail against him, as a king ready for the battle. For he stretcheth out his hand against God. He strengtheneth himself against the Almighty.
Ooh, okay, so looks like there's an addition there. So in the English Standard it says, because he has stretched out his hand against God and defies the Almighty. So that's supposed to mean pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
But let's see, Altar's translation. What is that, verse 25? For he reached... here's something interesting. For he reached out his hand against God, and Shaddai he assaulted. If this general portrait of the wicked man is intended by Eliphaz to refer, at least by implication, to Job, the image of a martial assault on God is truly extravagant. Tursinai, that's a scholar, has proposed that these lines hark back to the Canaanite creation myth, in which the assailant against El, the sky god, that is the term for God used here, would be a mythic warrior allied with the primordial sea monster. Now, this is why I wish Chris was here, because that'd be
he'd
useful.
love that.
But also, in this commentary, it notes a very similar thing. The picture of the wicked is one of endless pain, despair, and death, even in times of prosperity. There is constant fear of the sword of doom descending at any time. The reason for this punishment is that they stretched out their hands against God and bid defiance to the Almighty.
So they've brought up the Loch Ness Monster a bunch of times so far. I don't understand why it's relevant to them, because they're in a desert. presumably not going off to sea that often. Sure.
Yeah, it's like Neptune's really mad at me, but oh well,
Yeah,
I
think
fucking
we
guess.
had one character in this whole Bible so far
Who spent
who's
a lot
had
of
a
time?
boat,
Yeah, with boats.
Probably one, yeah, in Kings, I think.
Mhm.
and they never mention anyone.
Well, yeah, sorry,
having-
sorry. I guess Noah also, but
Yeah,
Oh, that boat.
and they
that
never
boat.
mention anyone having a navy.
Yeah. Chris, how's your volume?
Should it go up?
I think so. Yeah.
I could bump you guys up a bit.
Okay.
All right.
yeah.
Well, hopefully
Thank you,
that's
Chris.
better.
Sure.
Anyway, he runneth upon him, even on his neck, upon the thick bosses of his bucklers, because he covereth his face with fatness, and maketh collops of fat on his flanks. And he dwelleth in desolate cities, and in houses which no man inhabiteth, which are ready to become heaps. Is he talking about Milwaukee?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds
Like
about right.
Milwaukee. Yeah.
He shall not be rich, neither shall his substance continue, neither shall he prolong the perfection thereof upon the earth. He shall not depart out of darkness, the flame shall dry up his branches, and by the breath of his mouth shall he go away. Let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense. It shall be accomplished before his time, and his branch shall not be green. He shall shake off his unripe grape as the vine, and shall cast off his flower as the olive. For the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. They conceive mischief, and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit.
So, Ultra's translation has pregnant with wretchedness, giving birth to crime. Their belly prepares deceit. Ha! I know.
So when they say they conceive mischief,
Yes.
they literally mean conception.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least that seems like the word that is being used there. All right. That is chapter. That's the end of chapter 15. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please drop a like. It really helps us out, or a dislike. That helps us out too. Either way, it's all cool. And if you're not, subscribe and share the stream around. Get some more people in here. That'd be cool. We'd like that. We'd very much appreciate that, because we got a decent amount of chapters to get through.
Yeah.
Not as many as last week, but still decent.
So basically, this guy's whole argument is that Job doesn't know shit.
Yes, like you're not looking at the big scope of things.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's not being explicit when he says that Job is, or what. He's not being explicit in Job being a sinner, but he is. It's kind of slowly creeping in there. As you will see later, they are trying to make Job feel real bad.
Yeah. Well,
Worse than he already is.
I'm sure he does feel real bad.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, let's get on with it.
Yes, chapter 16. Here you go, buddy. Here, take that. Why don't you?
Excellent.
And then DB Cisco, praise Marduk. Yes, I agree.
Praise Marduk.
Praise Marduk.
Ha! May his glorious blessings be upon you for all time.
What he said.
Woo.
We haven't seen DB Cisco in a while.
No,
It's good to
yeah.
see you back, man.
Yeah,
Thank
hey
you.
DB Cisco, it's been a while.
And just so you're aware of how this works, here you go. The important stuff, this is because Job is talking through chapters 16 and 17. So the important stuff I have underlined. So you can probably look through some of that stuff while I read.
Okay.
So, chapter 16. Then Job answered and said, I have heard many such things. Miserable comforters are you all. Shall windy words have an end? Or what provokes you that you answer? And of course, we noted that before, windy words. It's basically just meaningless stuff. Word salad. Hot air.
Woo!
I could also speak as you do if I were in my place. If you were in my place. I could join words together against you and shake my head at you. I could strengthen you with my mouth, and the solace of my lips would assuage your pain. If I speak, my pain is not assuaged. And if I forbear, how much of it leaves me? Surely now God has worn me out. He has made desolate all my company, and he has shriveled me up, which is a witness against me, and my leanness has risen up against me. It testifies to my face. So he is seeing the almighty power of God.
So here in verse 9, Alter says, his wrath tore me apart, seethed against me, he gnashed his teeth against me. Now, 9 in here says essentially the same thing, but they detail it in here saying that it is a parody of Psalms which compare the enemies of Israel to wild beasts. So here it says that God's compared to a wild beast. In the commentary and altar, it says, for tore me apart, this violent verb is used for predatory animals rending their prey.
So there's some neat little imagery there for you.
Yes.
Where was I? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you were
So
just after
9.
that.
Okay, I didn't even read 9.
You didn't?
No,
Oh.
I read 8. Thanks for getting ahead of me.
It's phrased differently in the altar translation.
Probably.
Yeah.
He has torn me in his wrath and hated me. He has gnashed his teeth at me. My adversary sharpens his eyes against me. Men have gaped at me with their mouth. They have struck me insolently on the cheek. They mass themselves together against me. Wow, these people sound really mean.
Yeah, they're like ganging up on him and shit.
God gives me up to the ungodly and casts me into the hands of the wicked. I was at ease, and he broke me apart. He seized me by the neck and dashed me to pieces. He set me up as his target. His archers surround me. He slashes open my kidneys and does not spare. He pours out my gall on the ground. So this is some hunter imagery. Him being, a leader of some archers.
Hunter. Let's go with that.
Yeah, hunter.
Yeah.
What would you say? This is
Murder.
This is an archer.
This is murder.
This is murder.
He breaks me with breach upon breach. He runs upon me like a warrior. I have. This one was interesting. I think I underlined it here.
Yeah, there's a bit about this in here.
Yeah, I have sewed sackcloth upon my skin and have laid my strength in the dust.
So this is supposed to be. It can literally be that his sores open up and like his clothes are sticking to those areas.
Where they essentially become a part of him.
Yeah. In rabbinic plight, the word for scabs means the scab over a wound, and it seems to be directly relevant according to Alter and in the story. So that's got to be really painful.
I'm sure it is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is as close to like gore as you got back then.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't like
we've read some pretty gory stuff in the Bible.
Sure.
The Bible has a lot of There's a lot in this book.
But this is like
This is very different. This is like
tearing out organs and
yeah, but this is of course not literal, like the other stuff.
Bleeding and all that other fun stuff.
Yeah. My face is red with weeping, and on my eyelids is deep darkness. Although there is no violence in my hands, and my prayer is pure. O earth, cover not my blood, and let my cry find no resting place. Even now, behold!
behold.
Behold.
My witness is in heaven, and he who testifies for me is on high. My friends scorn me. My eye pours out tears to God, that he would argue the case of a man with God. So I'll finish the verse. As a son of man does with his neighbor. So interesting thing about the verse 18 there. About letting his cry find no resting place.
Yeah.
That's kind of supposed to be about vindication and like letting other people learn from his lessons. Learn from what has happened to him. So he does not want his memory to be lost.
Do you remember the magic card? Vindicate.
1618. That uses language of blood vengeance to introduce the idea that if he were to die, we'd want his innocent blood to cry out from the ground.
Yeah. Fucking OP is what it is.
Yeah.
For when a few years have come, I shall go the way from which I shall not return. And that is that's the end of chapter 16. Yeah, it is. So if you guys are enjoying the stream, please drop a likes. Chapter 17 is very short. Subscribe if you haven't. Share the video around. All that good stuff.
So the 17:1.
Yeah.
It
Oh, does it start a different place for you?
altar places it at the end of 16. It says, "My spirit is wrecked, my days flicker out, graves are what I have." In Altar's translation.
I see.
And he says, this triadic line, though said at the beginning of the next chapter in the conventional division into chapters, clearly concludes the whole section of Job's complaint.
I see. Okay. And now Job's complaint continues anyways, so it really doesn't matter too much.
It will shortly end, too.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the Holy Scriptures.
Oh, no.
Chapter 17.
We should be reading from the best Bible there is.
Yeah, you got to
Ruben.
keep that King James marathon going.
The Book of Mormon?
Yes, the Book of Mormon, but also...
I got to tell you, I was reading from that when I was reading. And that translation, not all that much better. 1917 is quite a while ago.
Yes, it is.
And the phrasing of things seriously could use an update. I understand King James is nearly as frustrating.
Yeah, and it's older, too.
I get you.
My spirit is consumed. My days are extinct. The grave is ready for me. Surely there are mockers with me, and mine eyes abideth in their provocation. Give now a pledge. Be surety with me, for me with thyself. Surety. Oh, like...
Hold on, which verse is that?
3.
3.
Be surety. Like, as
okay.
in be certain? Or...
Kind of.
Yeah.
Lay down a pledge for me with you. Who is there who will put up security for me?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who else is there that will strike hands with me? For thou hast hid their heart from understanding. Therefore shall thou not exalt them. He that denounceth his friends for the sake of flattering, even the eyes of his children shall fail. Ooh, that's rough.
You can have blind kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a for-profit he informs on friends. He's a sellout.
So, I mean, it's not literally saying, like, your children are not going to have eyesight. But it's saying that because you're so stupid, the kids that you have are going to be just as stupid as you
Pretty
are.
much, you're not going to get anything from.
Blind to knowledge, blind to learning.
No,
Not
it's
blind,
not. It's not even
blind.
that. It's like you will receive nothing of you. They will receive nothing of use from their ancestor.
Oh.
He hath made me also a byword of the people, and I am become one in whose face they spit. Mine eye also.
So hold on. The Hebrew tophet is obscure. The translation, mindful of a possible Aramaic cognate, interprets it as an act of humiliation parallel to a byword of peoples, only more extreme.
He hath made me also a byword of the people, and I am become one in whose face they spit. Mine eye also is dimmed by reason of vexation, and all my members are as a shadow. Upright men are astonished at this. And the innocent stirreth up himself against the godless. Yet the righteous holdeth on his way, and he that hath clean hands waxeth stronger and stronger.
So on the righteous clinging to their way, Alter notes, though in the previous verse Job mentions the outrage of the upright over his unwarranted suffering, this celebration of the staunchness and the augmented strength of the righteous sounds more like the three friends than like Job, and it is possible that the entire verse doesn't belong here.
Mm-hmm. But as for you all, do ye return and come now, and I shall not find a wise man among you. My days are past, my purposes are broken off, even the thoughts of my heart. They change the night into day, the light is short because of darkness. If I look for the netherworld as my house, what, the netherworld?
Yeah.
Is it Sheol?
Sheol, yeah.
Okay. If I look for the netherworld as my house, if I have spread my couch.
Here's what it says. It's I mean, that kind of makes sense even in context. So he's just kind of waiting for, death as before. This desire for release from anguish through death is perfectly consonant with the death wish poem in chapter 3, with which Job began his complaint.
Right,
As
because
we
he was mentioning seeking shelter in Sheol or something like that. Yes. I have spread my couch in the darkness.
Couch.
If I have said to corruption, thou art my father, to the worm, thou art my mother and sister, where then is my hope? And as for my hope, who shall see it? They shall go down to the bars of the netherworld, when we are at rest together in the dust.
And, it says, will it go down to the bars of Sheol altogether, in the dust will it plunge? So Alter notes the Hebrew construct plural term badeh is obscure in context. Elsewhere, bad is a pole, as in the poles used to carry the sanctuary. So bars, perhaps the bars that shut the gate of the underworld, might be appropriate here. This is also the surmise of the Revised Standard Version. The antecedent of it is my hope in the previous verse. Since the hope Job had expressed was to go down to Sheol, he may be saying bitterly that his hope is nowhere to be seen because it has plunged into the realm of extinction without him.
Great.
That's pretty hilarious, I think.
Yeah. Is that
well,
hopeless?
that's the end of chapter
17.
17.
Yes,
and
it is.
if you're enjoying this horrific downfall of this poor man's life, hey, give us
Drop
a
a
like,
like.
or a dislike. and share this shit around.
Yeah. So the next guy talking is Bildad.
Wait, do you hear that?
I do.
That mysterious
I do
sound.
hear that. There's something really weird going on here. It's kind of fishy.
Kind of fishy. It sounds very much like it's calling me off to go do something.
Grab me a
with
Mountain
this
Dew.
coffee.
Behold, I am your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and I want to let all you heathens and sinners know that I support this wonderful episode of Atheist Sunday School. Lawrence and Reuben try their very best to bring you the true glory of the Bible, and they need your help. They have provided links to their Patreon page and other social media just for you. Once again, my name is Jesus Christ, and this is Milwaukee Atheists. The Lord is with them. God bless.
And we're back.
What? Hello,
Back.
everybody. That was weird. Not quite sure exactly what happened there.
Not quite sure what happened there either, Lawrence.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I guess I ascended like Elijah.
Yes, Reuben has ascended.
But now I'm back
Thanks for coming back.
to deliver holy wisdom to all.
With
Where are you gonna even put that coffee now?
Hey,
You
Mountain
guys
Dew.
are just gonna have books?
Yeah, we just have books everywhere. This is how people read nowadays. So we can hop right into 18. Here is the proper section.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's hop right into verse 18. Thank you, Jesus. Then Bildad the Shuhite answered and said, "How long will you hunt for words? Consider, and then we will speak. Why are we counted as cattle? Why are we stupid in your sight? You who tear yourself in your anger, shall the earth be forsaken for you, or the rock be removed out of its place? Like you ungrateful bastard, you are treating your friends like garbage."
So when he says who tears himself apart in his wrath, this is saying that Job is guilty and is the cause of all
Yes.
this suffering, which goes with their previous line of reasoning, which states that if something bad happens, it's because of the person to whom the bad thing happened.
I love victim blaming.
Yes.
Um,
So the Bible officially
supports it.
supports victim blaming.
Yeah.
Or maybe it doesn't.
Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. There are other
I'm
parts
not sure
too.
how we're supposed to take this line of reasoning, because with previous characters, you're obviously...
At least Bildad supports it.
Yeah. You're obviously supposed to be on, Moses' side
Sure.
from a Jewish point of view.
Yeah.
But are you supposed to be on Job's side or Bildad's side in this conversation?
Well, because Job is speaking near blasphemies,
Right.
it might be Bildad's side. But on
Right.
the other hand, you kind of look at Job and you're like, this guy is just, things aren't going really well for him and his friends aren't really helping.
Is the apologist...
His family died and they're like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Well, is the apologist interpretation supposed
Very
to be
conservative friends.
that Bildad is currently, trying to talk sense into Job?
Probably.
Or that Bildad is completely mistaken?
I don't know. Yeah. All right. Indeed, the light of the wicked is put out, and the flame of his fire does not shine. The light is dark in his tent, and his lamp above him is put out. His strong steps are shortened, and his own schemes throw him down, as we learned with Haman and Esther. For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walks on its mesh. A trap seizes him by the heel. A snare lays hold of him. A rope is hidden for him in the ground. A trap for him in the path. So, a couple things here. This imagery in the last three verses about, a net and the trap, that kind of jumps off of the hunter stuff
Right,
about
that
God
would go
earlier.
with the previous hunter stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the path is just, that's just life. The path is life.
The Tao.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually reading a book about that.
Read the Tao Te Ching. It's not long.
Okay.
It'll take like an hour.
Okay. Terrors frighten him on every side and chase him at his heels. His strength is famished, and calamity is ready for his stumbling. It consumes the parts of his skin. The firstborn of death consumes his limbs. He is torn from the tent in which he trusted and is brought to the king of terrors.
Hold on.
Yeah, I was gonna note the firstborn of death stuff. I have that underlined.
Right.
In
So
Erdman's too.
in Altar it says Death's firstborn. This is clearly a mythological figure, as is the king of terrors in the next verse. The Hebrew term for death, mawet, in the construct form mat, is identical with the name of the Canaanite god of death, Mat.
Yep.
The vivid cannibalistic image of death gnawing away at the limbs of the transgressor is not conventional language. In here, you underlined
I probably have
here,
a star next to it. It seemed
yes,
pretty important.
Yes, the description of, okay, it says, hunger and disease are ready to pounce as soon as the wicked stumble. The description of their disease demonstrates how illness was seen as the forerunner of death. The firstborn of death consumes their limbs, possibly a reference to death itself or his emissary. There may be a mythological background lying behind this description. In Ugaritic mythology, the god of death, Mat, has gaping jaws ready to swallow people up. In verse 14, have we reached 14?
Yes, that's the king of terrors thing.
Yes. In verse 14, the description moves to the process of death, whereby a person is pried from the security of his or her home and sent to the underworld. All is then destroyed of what remained of their home, so that no memory remains of them. Sulfur was used as a powerful disinfectant and renders land infertile.
And the sulfur is actually in the next verse.
In the next verse, it doesn't
verse 15,
say a
yeah.
verse. for that.
In his tent dwells that which is none of his. Sulfur is scattered over his habitation.
It says brimstone in the altar.
Okay. His roots dry up beneath, and his branches wither above. His memory perishes from the earth, and he has no name in the street. He is thrust from light into darkness and driven out of the world. He has no posterity or progeny among his people, and no survivor where he used to live. And of course, having no survivors, no descendants, is the worst possible thing in Judaism.
So that's what the reference to sulfur making land infertile.
Sure.
Right.
They of the West are appalled at his day, and horror seizes them of the East. Surely such are the dwellings of the unrighteous. Such is the place of him who knows not God. And that is the end of chapter 18.
Wow. Hey, if you're enjoying the stream so far, give it a like, share it to your friends, etc., etc.
Subscribe if you haven't.
Subscribe
definitely.
if you haven't. Take
Share this
the.
We
around.
see these subs coming in. I've seen
Yes.
3
Take this.
people subscribe
Yes.
while we've been
I
streaming.
don't want this.
Been pretty
I'm
nice.
gonna read out
Nice
of the New
flow.
King James. Oh, what chapter are we
19.
on? 19.
This is Job. He's speaking again.
Job trusts in his Redeemer. It gives little titles for
Yes,
all
it
the
does.
sections.
Mine also
in
gives titles.
The New King James. Wow. That would be so useful.
You wanted that?
Yeah, it would be nice.
Yeah, no, your superior original King James has you covered, or not.
Okay. Then Job answered and said, "How long will you torment my soul and break me in pieces with words?"
Yeah, you guys are dicks.
Yeah, fucking assholes. These 10 times you have reproached me. You are not ashamed that you have wronged me? And if indeed I have erred, my error remains with me. If indeed you exalt yourselves against me and plead my disgrace against me, Know then that God has wronged me and has surrounded me with his net.
Yeah, so...
Now we're on to real blasphemy.
Yes, we are. He has just said that this is all God's fault. And also, I think it's kind
But
of...
it's an if statement.
Ah, right.
So it
right.
puts the moral impetus on them.
Right, I'm sorry.
Right. But it is pretty close to blasphemy.
Yeah.
If I cry out concerning wrong, I am not heard. If I cry aloud, there is no justice.
Hold on, are you reading verse 7?
Yes.
Oh, man. Mine has, Behold!
Behold!
Oh, why not?
He has fenced up my way so that I cannot pass. And
Okay, this is very different. Hold on. This is like really different right now. So mine has, Behold, I cry out, violence, but I am not answered. I call for help.
Yeah, I already said that.
I call for
help,
help, but
If I cry
there's...
out concerning wrong, I am not heard. If I cry aloud, there's no justice.
Oh, did you say that?
Yeah.
How did I not?
And then you were like, wait, did you just read verse 7?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, either way, mine has
Let's
Behold.
reenact that one more time.
No, let's not.
He has fenced up my ways so that I cannot pass. And he has set darkness in my paths. He has stripped me of my glory and taken the crown from my head. He breaks me down on every side, and I am gone. My hope he has uprooted like a tree. He has also kindled his wrath against me, and he counts me as one of his enemies. His troops come together and build up their road against me. They encamp all around my tent. He has removed my brothers far from me, and my acquaintances are completely estranged from me.
Well, a lot of his acquaintances are dead.
Yeah. My relatives have failed.
They failed?
Yep, they went to school. That
Yeah.
didn't work out. They tried getting
They
jobs.
failed.
Absolute
that didn't
failures.
work
They
out.
all died, basically. No, they failed. And my close friends have forgotten me. Those who dwell in my house and my maidservants count me as a stranger. I am an alien in their sight.
Social pariah.
Yeah.
You got the Cain mark.
I call my servant.
Yeah, they got the mark of Cain.
Point to your mark of Cain.
That one. On
Yeah,
Lawrence.
this one right here.
No one can see that.
Oh, they can't.
But there you go. That's the
I
mark.
call my servant.
Does it work?
Yep, that works.
But he gives no answer. I beg him with my mouth. My breath is offensive to my wife, and I am repulsive to the children of my own body. Even young children despise me. I arise, and they speak against me. All my close friends abhor me, and those whom I love have turned against me. My bone clings to my skin and to my flesh, and I have escaped by the skin of my teeth.
Yes, the skin of my teeth. Let's
That's
talk.
a great expression.
Yes, it is. Let's talk about this. In verse 20, Job is concerned about his illness and reverses the normal image of flesh hanging on bones and therefore giving shape to the body. Here, his bones are so weak and decayed that they cling to his flesh, presumably making him shapeless. The skin of my teeth is a curious phrase for Job to use since the teeth is, of course, the one place where there is no skin. To have escaped by the skin of the teeth is a way of saying that one has barely escaped. Of course, we use that phrase a lot nowadays.
Yeah, it's neat to see that that's stuck around for this long. Several of these expressions,
Well, the thing about the...
like hot air and skin of my teeth, are two expressions.
Yeah, well,
that are-
hot air is our, modern reading
Yeah,
of it.
but I mean, it's
Yeah.
still very equivalent. Is what I'm going
Yeah.
for. Is that equivalent expressions have been around for that long.
Yeah, and the thing about the King James is, although it's not a good translation, has been very influential. It's people like to call it poetic and it's beautiful, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
I don't know.
Some
chats agree. Some of our chat agrees with that. It's kind of poetic.
yeah, like whatever. I guess that's just something I don't really care about. So there's a lot of stuff from the King James that has just been in our common vernacular for a long time, like skin of my teeth, salt of the earth, a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. So it has been very influential.
Yes. Have pity on me, oh you my friends, for the hand of God has struck me. Why do you persecute me as God does, and are not satisfied with my flesh?
Am I not good enough for you?
Oh, that my words were written. Oh, that they were inscribed in a book, that they were engraved on a rock with an iron pen and lead forever. For I know that my Redeemer lives, and he shall stand at last on the earth. And after my skin is destroyed, this I know, that in my flesh I shall see God, whom I shall see for myself. And when my eyes shall behold, and not another, how my heart yearns within me. If you should say, how shall we persecute him? Since the root of the matter is found in me, be afraid of the sword for yourselves, for wrath brings the punishment of the sword, that you may know there is a judgment.
Yeah, so obviously, I have a good amount of stuff noted on this section, actually. But before I get into that, I'm just going to read one thing from Alter about there being judgment. The very last word of Job's speech is problematic. The Masoretic editors were not entirely sure whether it should be pronounced shadun or shadin, or perhaps something in between. Consequently, interpretations have varied widely. Some see a reference to demons, shadim, or to a pagan god. This translation follows a tradition that goes back to a couple of the ancient versions and to Rashi in the Middle Ages, and which construes the enigmatic terms as shadin, that there is judgment or law, which would make a lot of sense for the way this is going. So here's some stuff that I have pulled out of Erdman's commentary. In 19:23 through 29, Job wishes his avowal of innocence were inscribed in a book or in rock forever so that they are not forgotten, as was hit on previously. There are overtones here of the blood vengeance called for in his last speech. He wants something to outlast him so that he knows he will be vindicated. And then in verse 26, in my flesh I shall see God, suggests that Job will be aware of his own vindication, presumably while he is still alive. Mm-hmm. The translation outside my flesh has been suggested, which would suggest after death, but this rendering would be less consistent with his overall thought. And then verses 25 to 27 has been seen as evidence of a belief in an afterlife, and clearly the boundary line for Job between life and death, so the boundary line is thin between life and death. It's not exactly piercing the veil, but it's close to piercing the veil. Mm-hmm. But he's kind of slowly having this weird turnaround. Like, first, he starts off by saying, this is all God's fault, God hates me, and while it's still here, now he is hoping for vindication.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
now he's angry.
He is
He's going through the 5 stages of grief, is he? I don't know.
Before,
You're a psychologist.
He went denial at first. He was like, whoa, what the hell is going on? And all these people came out of nowhere and just told him that all this shit was happening. And I don't know. Probably. Something like that.
I'm just saying that his tone shifted from vindication in the next life, and when he dies and people have already done stuff.
Yeah, now he wants to see
vindication
it.
now.
Yeah, now he wants to see it. So we can hop right into chapter 20. Yes. Chapter 20.
Chapter 20.
And I'm
Give me
going,
that commentary.
Yes, I'm going. Oh, I actually have it pulled up right here. Look at me. I'm amazing. There you go. There's Zophar's second speech, chapter 20.
And remember, if you're sharing, to
Yes.
like and sub.
Like, subscribe, share, all that
Yeah,
good.
and if you sub, don't forget to like. And if you share, don't forget to do a different thing. I don't know.
Thank you for your engagement, is what we're saying.
Yes, thanks, guys.
Feels good, man.
I'm glad.
Thank you. Chapter 20. Then Zophar the Naamathite answered and said, Therefore my thoughts answer me, because of my haste within me. I hear censure that insults me, and out of my understanding a spirit answers me. I think I noticed something about that spirit. Like, is this outside force or something?
Yeah, it's an outside force. There's not much on it.
Not much? Okay.
On the altar commentary. All I can think is that maybe he's being like, what are you, possessed?
No, I think this is him saying that there is something speaking to him. I think this is like a divine influence kind of thing. Like it gives authority to his words.
Well, this interpretation says that it's done to enhance the divine authority of his words.
Yeah. Good old divine authority. Do you not know this from old, since man was placed on earth, that the exulting of the wicked is short, and the joy of the godless but for a moment? Though, I don't know about that. We're doing all right over here.
We're doing fine, yeah.
Though his height mount up to the heavens, and his head reach to the clouds, he will perish forever like his own dung. What?
Altar says, like his turd, he is lost forever.
Wow. That's a shit statement. I don't like it.
That's a crappy translation.
This is the crudest. I mean,
So-
other than that house that everyone defecated
Right,
on,
right.
this is pretty crude.
And it's meant to just be a striking contrast.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, he will perish forever like his own dung. Those who have seen him will say, Where is he? He will fly away like a dream and not be found. He will be chased away like a vision of the night. The eye that saw him will see him no more, nor will his place any more. Behold!
Behold.
Him. His children will seek the favor of the poor, and his hands will give back his wealth. And that's kind of the same thing that we were talking about before with his descendants will have nothing. His bones are full of his youthful vigor, but it will lie down with him in the dust. Though evil is sweet in his mouth, though he hides it under his tongue, though he is loath to let it go, and holds it in his mouth, yet his food is turned in his stomach. It is the venom of cobras within him. He swallows down riches and vomits them up again. God casts them out of his belly. He will suck the poison of the cobras. The tongue of a viper will kill him.
So,
I
here
did write some stuff down for that,
It points out a picture is drawn of an arrogant, gluttonous person reaching for the sky but ending up in the dirt. There is an overtone here of the sin of Adam and Eve in overreaching themselves and trying to be like God.
Yeah.
Similarly, the Tower of Babel story, although the wicked person appears tall and solidly built, the next verses make it clear that his existence is like the characters in a dream. They seem very real at the time, but turn out to be a phantom.
Yeah. They're fleeting.
Yes. And all the snake imagery
Yeah.
seems to be... I mean, assuming that we're going in canonical order.
Well, remember, a lot of people think that this is the oldest book in the Bible.
Also, I think that's a pretty old snake if it's the same one.
Yeah, it's not the same one,
You
and
don't
it's
know.
also, even in the narrative, it's a completely metaphorical one.
Yeah.
So
Yes, but
Yeah.
it's the same metaphor.
He will not look upon the rivers, the streams flowing with honey and curds. He will give back the fruit of his toil, and he will not swallow it down. From the profit of his trading he will get no enjoyment. For he has crushed and abandoned the poor. He has seized a house that did not build. Because he knew no contentment in his belly, he will not let anything in which he delights escape him. There was nothing left after he had eaten, therefore his prosperity will not endure. In the fullness of his sufficiency he will be in distress. The hand of everyone in misery will come against him. To fill his belly to the full, God will send his burning anger against him and rain it upon him into his body.
So there's a lot of imagery here that has to do with like vomiting.
Yes.
This Ehrman.
Erdman's. Just say Erdman's.
Erdman's?
Commentary says that God's seen as the cause of the vomiting, and says is force feeding the wicked man, leading him to an inescapable end.
Yeah.
Oh, like in that Simpsons episode where they said, now you can have all of the donuts
Yes.
in the world.
Yes. And they just kept going. That was pretty
And
good.
they're like, he loves this. This is horrible.
He will flee from an iron weapon. A bronze arrow will strike him through. It is drawn forth and comes out of his body. The glittering point comes out of his gallbladder. Terrors come upon him. Utter darkness is laid up for his treasures. A fire not fanned will devour him. That is some very dark imagery right there.
And it's pointing out in Erdman's commentary that he uses this description to frighten Job and try and persuade him of the falsity of his line of reasoning.
Yeah. So utter darkness is laid up for his treasures. A fire not fanned will devour him. What is left in his tent will be consumed. The heavens will reveal his iniquity, and the earth will rise up against him. The possessions of his house will be carried away, dragged off in the day of God's wrath. This is the wicked man's portion from God, the heritage decreed for him by God. Oh boy.
Great.
Oh, man, there's a lot of stuff in here.
Aren't you glad?
No.
Oh. Well, come on.
I gotta be glad.
Yeah, you gotta be glad.
Yeah. That was the end of chapter 20. We have one more chapter left. Isn't that crazy?
No, it's been an hour and 12 minutes. I believe
Yeah, no,
it.
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're doing fine on time.
Yeah, we're doing well.
Honestly, I
hope you guys are enjoying the stream. Drop a like.
this would have been another 40 minutes if Chris was here, but it would have been fine.
Yeah, that would have been totally fine.
Yeah, we probably would have gotten more details about the King of Terrors.
If anything,
Probably.
I feel we should still give him his say on these chapters.
Yeah. Well,
Somehow.
We should ask him about the King of Terrors.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm reading out of the King James Version.
Yes. the good old King
Hooray!
James. I'm closing this.
But Job answered and said, Hear diligently my speech, and let this be your consolations. Suffer me that I may speak, and after that I have spoken, Makan. As for me, is my complaint to man? And if it were so, why should not my spirit be troubled? Mark me, and be astonished, and lay your hand upon your mouth. Even when I remember, I am afraid, and trembling taketh hold of my flesh.
So apparently, the hand over your mouth thing, because it really sounds like he's just telling him to shut up.
Yeah.
But apparently, this is a sign of horror,
Oh, wow. Hey,
according to Alter. It just sounds like he's telling him to shut up.
Chris will
whatever.
be back next week, right?
Yes, he will be.
Okay, excellent.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. We're all assuming he'd like to be here
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the Job sections.
Yeah.
Yes. Wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power. Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear. Neither is the rod of God upon
Rod of God!
them.
Oh, remember, Teespring, get your Rod of God Valentine's Day t-shirts.
Oh yeah,
For
that's
next year.
right. Valentine's Day is coming up again eventually.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. So,
You'll always be doing that till it won't.
yes. So, Rod of God shirts.
Wow, it's been a while since we had a reference to the rod of God.
Ah,
Yeah,
man, that thing
don't you
is-
love the Rod of God?
They don't just throw it around. It's a select privilege to experience the rod of God.
Yeah.
So, wait, where was the first reference to the rod of God?
Oh,
It was
Moses.
in Exodus.
I mean,
yeah.
historically.
Oh,
Oh, you mean like the oldest?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Well, that'd be cool to find out.
It might be in some other books we haven't gotten to yet. So I'm
That's
not
an idea for a video, the history of the rod of God.
sure. The Rod of God.
Their bull gendereth and faileth not. Their cow calveth and casteth not her calf. They send forth their little ones like a flock, and their children dance. They take the timbrel and harp and rejoice at the sound of the organ.
So, what does verse 10 say for you?
Their bull gendereth
Yeah.
and faileth not. Their cow calveth and casteth not her calf.
Wow. I like mine a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay,
Their
what's
bull
that?
breeds and brings no miscarriage. Their cow calves and does not lose her young. I just like the fact that miscarriage is in there.
Well,
That's it.
never mind. Up, Lawrence. I think your mic is out or low on battery. So one moment, please.
Well, Lawrence isn't me,
No, he's not
so
you.
I'm going to continue.
Please continue.
They spend their days in wealth, and in moment they go down to the grave. Therefore they say unto God, Depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty, that we should
We're good.
serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him?
So the thing about hold on, which verse is that exactly?
15.
15. Okay. Yeah. This translation, Alter's translation, says, "Who is Shaddai that we should serve him?" So the formulation.
Good question.
Yep. So the formulation of this arrogant question may echo Pharaoh's words to Moses and Aaron: "Who is the Lord that I should heed his voice?"
Lo, their good is not in their hand. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. How oft is the candle of the wicked put out, and how oft cometh their destruction upon them? God distributeth sorrows in his anger. They are as stubble before the wind, and as chaff that the storms carrieth away. God layeth up his iniquity for his children. He rewardeth him, and he shall know it. His eyes shall see his destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty.
And of course, this again says Shaddai.
For what pleasure hath he in his house after him, when the number of his months is cut off in the midst? Shall any teach God knowledge, seeing he judgeth those that are high? One dieth in his full strength, being wholly at ease and quiet. His breasts are full of milk, and his bones are moistened with marrow. And another dieth in the bitterness of his soul, and never eateth with pleasure. They shall lie down alike in the dust, and the worms shall cover them. Behold!
Behold!
I know your thoughts and the devices which ye wrongfully imagine against me. For ye say, Where is the house of the prince, and where are the dwelling places of the wicked?
So just to note here, the nobleman's house and the wicked's abode. Job was once a prospering nobleman. The fact that his house has been brought to ruin is adduced by the three reprovers as evidence that all along he has been wicked and now has gotten what he deserves.
Have ye not asked them that go by the way? And do ye not know their tokens, that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction? They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Who shall declare his way to his face? And who shall repay him what he hath done? Yet shall he be brought to the grave, and shall remain in the tomb. The clods of the valley shall...
One thing, yours says tomb. My translation also says tomb. But Alter's translation says sepulcher. The Hebrew plural keverot, instead of the simple singular kever, grave, suggests something grand. Even in death, the grandeur of the wicked is not diminished.
Yes. The clods of the valley shall be sweet unto him, and every man shall draw after him, as there are innumerable before him. How then comfort ye me in vain, seeing in your answers there remaineth falsehood?
So that's very, very much like, you guys are still so very unhelpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the end. And the end of the chapters that we are reading today.
Yes, it is. Quite a reading. What did you think of it so far?
I'd like to say that we had a nice, healthy 6 count for beholds.
Ah, that is good.
It is good. You know, we had 10 last time, but I feel like we read more last time.
We did.
Maybe also, yeah, I don't know.
No, we did
There were
read more.
just more beholds, too.
Yeah.
But that was a good count. You know, it was really frustrating when we didn't have them for weeks.
I know, that was kind of a bummer.
It's nice to have them back.
What chapters are we reading next time?
I have them written down somewhere. They're over by Chris, I think.
Oh, what's up?
I have them written down, like on this little notepad. But either way, while
22 through 42?
I don't know.
no, God no, I'll find it. So I think it's less or the same amount as today, not more than before. That was a lot. So, anyways, if you guys enjoyed the stream, please drop a like, subscribe if you haven't, share the video around, share our channel around, give it to ex-girlfriends and homeless people on the street.
And if you haven't yet, check out our Amazon wish list and our Patreon.
Yes, our Amazon wish list it's got a lot of books in there. In fact, it's completely books. So if you want to see a video on something, if you get us a book on it, we will read the book, and it will be included as a source for a future video.
Yeah, and if you would like to buy us like physical copies of the Apocrypha stuff that we're going to be reading on the upcoming Apocrypha show that will be on Fridays at
Probably 1
Central Standard Time. Once we start Psalms,
because Psalms are not a lot of fun.
I think we'll be starting at the week that
Do we have a
start
name,
Psalms.
Yeah.
like a real name for that show yet?
I'll think
we
of
should set something up like we did with the 100-point show, even though it didn't happen.
it. Right.
You know, another tab or whatever.
We'll figure something out.
I should delete scene 2 as
Well,
well.
with
So
that-
No, don't delete it.
Scene 2.
Oh, is that the...
Who knows?
Okay.
With that being said, we will.
Hold on. Stop. There are other things we need to shill.
Oh, please.
What are we shilling?
Well, we have already shilled our glorious Patreon, but we also need to shill our Teespring, our Facebook, our Twitter. I think that's it.
All right.
With that,
We
will
will see you next Sunday.